Andrew, can you go to Mr. Foreman's class and grab their friends? Right there, Mr. Foreman's class. Yep. Shh. Quiet, friends. We're listening. Come grab a chair, friends. You're in Star, Ruby. Tom just asked how you're doing. How are you?
Good. So how old is everybody in the classroom? How old is everybody here?
We are in grade 4, 5. Go all the way over. Very good. We have questions for you. We have different friends coming up. They have it all in order, so I will just make sure that we're running through that order. We just have a couple announcements to listen to. Come on in, friends. Come grab a seat. Alrighty, friends. So those were all the announcements. Could I please have Jake shut the door for us? There we go. So, Tom, we wanted to welcome you to our classroom.
Great. Thank you very much. Great to see you guys. Hi, everybody.
And we are broadcasting from Paris, Ontario. Where are you from?
I'm in Greenwich, Connecticut right now, but I grew up in Brampton, Ontario, so very close there.
Very good. Yes, we have a student that is actually leaving us after Christmas break, and she is moving back to Brampton.
Oh, very nice. Good.
Yeah. Very good. So I think she had a couple questions for you about Brampton. She just went out to grab another group of students that was coming to join us that are huge Survivor fans.
Good.
Our first question, I'm going to turn the camera back towards Ms. Thomas.
Sure.
So when it is your turn to have your question, you're going to come sit in Ms. Thomas's chair, okay? So that when it's your turn, you get to talk right to Tom. Okay, are you ready? So Sam, you have our first question. Come on up. There we go. Perfect.
Who's this, Sam coming up?
Sam is coming up.
All right, Sam.
Hi, Tom. My name is Sam.
Boys and girls, quiet, please.
I have a question. What position did you play in the NHL?
I was a defenseman, Sam. I played for 11 seasons, and I only scored 25 goals. So I was a defensive defenseman that had to block shots and hit people and do all that. So I was very proud of doing that. I also got to be a captain and assistant captain for both the New York Rangers and the LA Kings. So it was a real honor.
Very good. Thank you.
Hey, Sam. Thank you.
Noah, come on up. And if he's already touched on your comment, just bring it back to me and I have other questions for you, okay?
Hi, I'm Noah. And what is your biggest accomplishment in the NHL?
Biggest accomplishment? Well, I think, first of all, just making it to the National Hockey League. And I was very fortunate because I really wasn't a great player. And I go around and talk to a lot of people now, like kids your age, and I make sure I say to them that, listen, it doesn't matter if you're the best or not. If you really work hard and show up every day and do your practice and all the things you need to do, you can accomplish everything. So I think for me, it was just getting to the National Hockey League, mainly because I really wasn't that great of a player. I just had to work really hard to get there. So it's the same thing with you guys. If you want something bad enough, whether it's hockey or whatever it is, or a career, it's really important that you just keep on going every day and showing up and doing your work.
Very good. Thank
Great
you.
question.
Thank you.
Number 3. Come on up, Mr. Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor. What was your favorite hockey team to be on?
Well, I had two great cities. The New York Rangers were my first team. So anytime that that's your first team and you made it to the NHL, playing in New York at Madison Square Garden, right in the middle of Manhattan, was pretty exciting. And I was there for 7 years. And I won Players Player Award. And like I said, I was a captain, assistant captain. So that was great. But going to LA I didn't want to leave New York, but going to LA was great too. And I got traded there. Wayne Gretzky got traded to the Kings. So I got to play with Dwayne. So that was a real thrill too. So both cities are great, in different ways. Again, the Rangers were my first team. But again, going to LA and got a chance to play with Wayne. Or more importantly, Wayne got a chance to play with me. That's what the important thing was.
Nice.
Number 4. Come on up, Eden.
Hi, my name's Aiden, and I have a question for you.
Okay, Aiden.
Did you have a mentor when playing or learning hockey? Who was it, and how did they impact you?
Well, I had a lot of mentors, actually. That's a fantastic question, Aiden. And it's really important that you have people around like that, too. Like, first of all, my parents, although, they love me, they were good in a lot of ways. And that they really said, Tom, if you really want to make it, it's up to you. We can't make you get to the NHL. It's got to be you that does the work. I had some great coaches. I had a coach, Rick Hay, was coaching me. I played for Bramley Blues, which is the junior B team, in Bramley, obviously. And he was great for me. Like, he really saw something in me at the right age. So I was 15, 16 years old, and really, pushed me hard. Sometimes I wasn't too happy with him because he pushed me hard to get the most out of me. Going to college, I had Rick Comley, my college coach, who was fantastic. And then a lot of my coaches in the National Hockey League were great. I had Herb Brooks. Herb Brooks coached the 1980 Olympic team that they won the gold medal for that movie Miracle. And he was my coach for 4 years with the Rangers. And he was great too. And it was really important, the timing of it, because, different people come into your life at the right time. And it's important that if you have people like that you really, listen to what they're saying. I mean, you're not always going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes, but I think it's just really important that you listen to those mentors, those leaders in your life, because if they really care about you, they're giving you advice that's really going to help you along the way. Great question, Aiden.
Thank you. Question 5. Alrighty, Andrew's coming up.
Andrew. Andrew. What's up, bud?
How many goals did you score during your time in the NHL? Did you ever get a hat trick?
I never got a hat trick. My job was to stop people from scoring goals. So I got 25 goals. I think my first year in the league, I had 6 goals. That was the most I ever scored, but never scored 3 goals in one game. No, never had a hat trick. I actually went for 120 games without scoring a goal because it just really wasn't my job to score goals. So, but that was a long time not to score goals.
What's your job, Andrew, on your hockey team?
To help people, and I'm center.
Very good.
Good job.
Good job, Andrew.
You got to be very smart. You got to be smart, Andrew, to play center because you got to think a lot, right? Coming back in your own zone. Good job by you. So you're the smart guy on the team.
Good job.
Good.
Number 6. David is coming up representing his team.
All right, Damon.
Did you ever get into any physical fights while playing hockey?
Well, yes, I did. Back when I played, I started in 1980 in the National Hockey League, and there was a lot more fighting back then. So you had to. It sounds kind of strange now, and I don't want you guys to do this, but when I played, it was you had to come in and prove that you're tough enough to fight. So if you look me up on YouTube, you'll see a few fights of mine. But again, the game's really changed now. I don't recommend that you guys do that. I don't think it's necessary in the game anymore, but it was back when I played. So yes, we did a little bit of that.
Very good. Thank you. Number 7. Hayden coming on up.
How you doing?
Do you currently watch the NHL? Who do you cheer for?
Yes, I do. I love watching the games now. The game has really changed a lot from when I played. Like we were talking before, there's a lot more fighting when I played and everything, but the game is fantastic now. All the skating, the skill players. So I live here in the New York area, and I played for the Rangers, and I do a lot of off-ice stuff with the Rangers, a lot of clinics for kids and everything. So I really watch the Rangers a lot. Because I played for the Kings and a lot of my friends are still running the team, I really cheer for the Kings. But I really like the NHL in general. I like to watch a lot of games. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are a good hockey team and a lot of good hockey out there. So, yes, I do watch quite a bit. Some people think I watch too much hockey, but I like it. Do you watch too?
Sometimes.
Yeah. What's your favorite team?
Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, Edmonton. All right. You like Connor McDavid? Yeah, he's not bad. He's pretty decent, yeah.
What position do you play, Hayden?
Right.
Right. Good job. Nice. You a goal scorer?
I try.
That's all right. Good job. Way to work.
Okay, then number 8. Question number 8. Adam, come on up. So now our questions are going more survivor focused.
Okay.
What made you want to sign up for Survivor?
Well, that's a great question. How are you doing, first of all?
Good.
Good. Excellent. They approached me first. So like now I'm 61 years old and I have a company called True Grit Life that you can see on the screen there. And it's all about discipline and fitness and motivation and everything. So they first approached me about being on the TV show Amazing Race. But I would have had to find a former teammate of mine around my age that could qualify to get on. We couldn't find anybody that fit. So they then mentioned Survivor to me. And at first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be on Survivor because, part of the Survivor game is you got to mislead people a little bit. And I really believe in everybody being, having integrity and telling the truth and all those things. But once I realized, got through my head that it was just, that's the gameplay. That's not who you are as a person. That's just the game. Then I was really excited to get on. So, and it was really a challenge because I stress with you guys and everybody that I talk to that it's really important that if you have dreams or goals, you go for it. It doesn't matter if you think you're too old or too young or not tall enough or the wrong race or whatever it is. It's important that if you have a dream and a goal that you really go for it. So that's the approach I took with Survivor. I really wanted to play and I went for it.
Very good. Number 9, Miss Talia. You can do it.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. If you were able to pick on day 1, would you have stayed on Lyro or switch to Vokai?
You know what? I really liked our tribe. Obviously we're playing Survivor, so we're all trying to, get each other out, but we had a lot of fun. We had Elaine and I got to be really good friends and actually have stayed friends. Aaron and I are friends, Dean, Chelsea. We had a lot of fun. They don't show everything in the game because we just don't have enough time. But around camp, we had a funny group of people. We were always joking around with each other and giving each other a hard time. And like I said, Elaine was very funny. She was, because I was the oldest player out there, she would, before bedtime, we'd lay down in the dirt, go to sleep. And jokingly, she'd say to all the other tribe members, they called me dad or pops because I was oldest. So she would say, listen, make sure you check dad's pulse in the middle of the night to make sure he hasn't died and sleeps. It's kind of funny the way she did it all the time, but I had a lot of fun with them.
Very good. Question number 10. Question number 10, Petunia, come on up. Ledger, can you sit in your chair? Thank you. Bye, friends.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Who did you trust the most on the island? What
Characteristics.
mode would them trustworthy?
So I think Elaine I probably trusted the most, but it's tough out there to really trust. There's two different kinds of trust, right? There's trust in the normal world, and then in the game of Survivor, you really don't trust anybody because they're trying to take care of themselves and get further in the game. But I think Elaine and I really had an alliance and we trusted each other. It was interesting because Aaron and I got along really well, and I think I trusted him. But again, he was really playing the game hard too, so I knew that's the way he was a real student of the game, and I could only I could trust him to a certain point. But I'd say Elaine and I got along best. I think more because we said to each other at the start, we were gonna we really felt like okay, we can work together. And at the start, we voted off. Her and I put together the blind side to get Ronnie off. I think we wanted to get Ronnie off because we thought he was a threat, but it showed each other that we were together and trusted each other. So, Elaine.
Very good. Number 11. Come on over. Who has question number 11? Ruby. There we go.
Ruby, how are you?
Good.
Good.
How was it being around people you don't know?
That was different, but I think about the game. And I think part of it that, like I say to everybody when I talk to, is that it's about preparation. So whatever you're going to do in life, whether it's getting ready for a test at school or getting a job somewhere down the road or being on a sports team, or in this case being on Survivor, preparation is really important. So I wanted to make sure that when I went out there, I understood the game fully. I prepared myself physically and mentally. And one of the things that you had to realize is that you're going to go out there on this island with people that you don't know. They may not be telling you the truth totally about who they are and what they do. So it's you just have to know that that's part of the game. So once we got out there at the game time, it was really one of the things that really surprised me was that we got into it right away. There's no getting feeling it out a little bit. We got right after and started playing games, and then part of that was the social game where you had to get to know those people. So it was hard, but it was a lot of fun. I loved doing it. It was great, and I'd certainly do it again.
Very good. Number 12, come on over.
Hello, my name is Jake.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. My question is, would you rather survive or be played in a hot place or a cold place?
Hot place. As much as I like the cold better than the heat, but when you're playing Survivor, especially the little things like going to bed at night and everything, because it would cool down at night where it would actually get a little cold, like in the mornings, it was a little cold. We didn't have blankets or anything. We like in most of the shows when you watch, they make a camp and they make it all out of bamboo. And they have bamboo beds to sleep on. We made the bamboo beds, and I couldn't stand sleeping on it. Most of the people didn't either, so we were sleeping in the dirt. And there was times where it was raining in the middle of the night. So if it was cold and it was raining, it would have been worse. The fact that at least it was warm, and you're wet, it wasn't too bad. But that's a great question. They have actually contemplated going to some colder venues to do it. But it would be tough to do. It was. I was lucky it was warm.
Very good.
Good question.
Question number 13.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
We got two people here. All right.
What challenge was the hardest for you in Survivor?
Well, we did a challenge. As a great picture of it too. We had to crawl through the sand. So it was right after we had a tribe swap, and I ended up Janet, who's a really nice person. Her and I had to be tied together, and then they tied our hands behind our back, and they tied our feet together, and then the two of us had to wiggle our way through the sand and up over a little hill and down. That was pretty tough. It was really hot. The sand was burning. And like I said, there's a great picture they have. I think I have it on my Facebook or Instagram where they have a close up and the sand is all over my face and everything. So that was pretty tough. But it was good. Like I said, even the tough stuff like that, it was still a lot of fun. It was a real challenge and a lot of fun to do it.
Thank you.
Good job.
You're welcome.
Number 14, please. Come on
How did your body feel when you were on the island?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How did your body feel when you were on the island?
It was good. I lost 27 pounds when I was out there. I intentionally put on some weight knowing that I was probably going to lose a lot of weight. So the weight loss was tough because we didn't get a lot of food. Like I'm really good with my diet. So I normally bring in around 3,000 calories a day when I'm here. But when we're out there eating rice and coconuts, they say we only had like around 300 calories a day. So the lack of food was probably the toughest thing, but it was good. You feel like once you get out there, you're really playing the game 24 hours a day, even in the middle of the night. People are getting up and talking about strategy or going for a walk or looking for idols. So you've constantly got to be playing. So the physical part really never bothered me at all. I felt great.
Question 15.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What was your favorite challenge you participated in?
Well, that's a pretty easy one, really. So part of what you want to do when you go out there, I think everybody has different strategies, but I didn't want to be standing out like making a big like I put a target on my back, like I was really this great athlete. So you try to be careful and not do too much. But the first challenge, we went through an obstacle course, and then we had to go up a wall. I think probably about a 20-foot wall, and then there was a puzzle at the top of the wall. And I was trying not to be too much up front, but once we got to the wall, I got my adrenaline got flowing a little bit in the competitive juices, and I wanted to be the guy at the bottom of the wall that everybody had to crawl up their back. So I got to the bottom of the wall, and 3 guys were on top of me at one time, trying to reach for this small rope that was at the top of the wall. So that would be the first one, because I really, I was really fired up and really excited. Like I was the old guy out there, but I wanted to make sure that I was strong enough, but I didn't want to stand out too much. So that probably the first one was the.
Very good.
Good job.
Olivia, what number were you? 15? 16, please.
Hi.
Hey, you're a Sabres fan?
Not really.
All right, okay.
Did you notice all the cameras around you all the time, or did you get used to it?
So I've been, I've always I've done a lot of TV stuff and everything, and with playing in the NHL, there's always cameras around. So you get used to the cameras being there, because more importantly, like you're careful what you're saying around the other players too. You don't want to do anything that kind of puts a target in your back and that everybody comes after you. So you're always careful what you're saying. And after a while, the cameras being around, so I kind of felt bad for the cameramen. Like they carry around the cameramen carry around what they call a boom with the microphone hanging out, and it's hot. It's hot and humid. These poor guys are carrying this boom, and it's heavy, and they're sweating. It's a hard day for them. So it's that was one of the things you noticed more than anything, how hard those guys had to work.
Very good. 17. 17. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey.
Hi. How hungry did you find yourself when on the island? What was your first meal when you left?
Hold on. First question I got to ask is, like, are you around 25? That voice of yours is like you're like a man already. It's good. Good job. Just ask that question again. Sorry, bud.
How hungry did you find yourself when on the island? What was your first meal when you left?
You know what? Like I said, as much as I lost weight and I knew I wasn't, I was losing weight, I really wasn't that hungry. You're so wrapped up in the game that you just weren't paying attention to that kind of stuff. And it is interesting when you get voted off, they have a boat there waiting for you. And there's a guy on the boat. Actually, there's a psychiatrist there for you, make sure you're okay. And there's also a guy on the boat, and he will radio ahead with the food you want. So I ordered, thinking I was going to eat a whole lot of food. I ordered a cheeseburger and fries, and I think a pepperoni pizza. And but once I got to Ponderosa, where they have us, I hardly ate anything. I think because I was just so used to not eating any food at all, hardly, that I couldn't. I think I ate half the hamburger and a little bit of fries and maybe one piece of pizza. So I was just surprised how little I ate when I first got off. That changed after a while.
Very good.
Good job. Good job there, sir. Good job.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What was the best and worst part of being on Survivor?
For me, I think the best part was, like I said earlier, I really wanted to show myself and other people that it doesn't, like I mentioned before, and it's for you guys too, that it doesn't matter how old you are or your height or weight or the color of your skin or anything. Is there something that you really wanted to do? It didn't matter what it was. It didn't even matter if it made sense to everybody else. It just, you want to do it. You don't have to have permission for anybody else for your dreams or anything. You go ahead and do it. So that was one of the biggest things for me when I went on Survivor, that it was just something that I wanted to do. It was a challenge. And I did it. And it's important not only to just do it, but I wanted to do it hard too. I wanted to, go all out when I played there. And I really felt like I did that. The worst is obviously not winning, getting voted off, but you understand with the game that, the way the game is, there's so many different reasons why you get voted off. Doesn't mean you're a good or a bad player. It just means it's your turn to get voted off. So that'd be the best and the worst times.
Very good.
Good job.
19. Who's 19? There we go. Come on over.
Let's go.
You guys know the next numbers. There you go.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Why do you think the tribe voted you out over Karishma?
Well, I think, first of all, with me, I really wanted to be loyal. So I had made an alliance with Elaine, Elizabeth, Missy, and Aaron. And when the tribe swap happened, all 4 of those people went over to the other tribe. So there was 5 people against us, the remaining 3 players from Lyro. So it was going to be either Dean or myself or Karishma. And I know Janet, when she actually complimented me that I was very loyal. But the problem was I was loyal to my original alliance. So she felt like, after when we had the merge, I was going to go back and be loyal to my original alliance. So that's why she wanted to vote me off. So I'm assuming that's why they did. With Karishma, Karishma played a different kind of game. She was playing more the game that she was just going to go along and vote with what everybody else wanted to do. So I think they felt comfortable that she would follow along with them more than I would. So I think that's really the answer.
And there's another question. Do you think Karishma could make it to the end?
Yes. That's the thing with the game of Survivor. There's all different ways to play. And again, my way was much different than Karishma's. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. She played her game exactly the way she wanted to play it. And I think she could make it to the end. Yeah.
Very good. Number 20.
I think Karishma really hurt her hand.
Well, yeah, she definitely hurt her hand. She cut herself. It wasn't exactly, and I don't want to say that the Survivor misled the thing. It wasn't exactly the way it happened. First of all, I wasn't at the camp when she cut herself. There was really, I think 2 or 3 people there. And by the time we got back, it showed that we really had the attitude that we didn't care. And it really, when we got back to camp, she was already bandaged up and everything. So we knew she was fine and taken care of. But yes, she cut her hand. There's a lot of that stuff going on. And we're always breaking up bamboo for firewood and everything. And bamboo, once you split it up, it's got sharp edges on it. So people are always cutting themselves. But she did cut herself. There's no question.
And did people help her off camera?
Did people help her? Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's the part that really wasn't. That's not what on camera. What we saw on TV really wasn't what I saw when we were out there. Karishma was. It was hard on Karishma. She didn't feel like she fit in with the group as much, and our group was, like I said, we really had a lot of fun together, and we were together a lot of the time. Again, there was all this meeting and planning, all that going on. But I think she felt like, for whatever reason, she just wasn't part of our group as much. I don't think people treated her that way. But I mean, I'm sure Karishma may look at it differently, but I felt like everybody went out of the way to make sure she was part of the group, just like everybody else was. So she wasn't treated any better or any worse than anybody else.
Very good. Question 21. Oh, no, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great. My question is, are you still in contact with anyone from the show?
I've tried to not stay in contact with people. I know a lot of the other players, I think, are in contact with each other. We'll go back. The final show, which is December 18th, I think it is, that Wednesday, that's the live finale. So they have us all going back for the show. So obviously we'll be in touch with each other then. But for me, I think a lot of the people there wanted to stay in touch with each other. For me, I think it's more because playing so many hockey games, realizing that once the game's over with, I really can't change the outcome of that game. It's more getting ready for the next game. I really took the approach that with Survivor, that once I played, it was over and it's on. I've got work to do and get on to the next thing. So that's the approach I took with it. So I have not stayed in touch with them.
Very good. Question 22. 22. No, thank you, Andrew. No, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
All right, you got 2 of them there.
How did you feel when you got voted off?
Well, that's a great question. So first of all, you're disappointed. I wanted to win, but I thought it was really important that you 2 guys are the troublemakers, aren't you? I can see it. Yeah. And none of that. So it was really important to me, and I think this is a good lesson for you guys too. That whenever you go do something, go give it everything you've got. If you're going to play on a hockey team, or you're going to go to class, or you're going to be 2 pranksters like you 2 are, I think it's important to do it all out. Go as hard as you can. So I felt really good when I got voted out that I did exactly what I wanted to do. I played exactly the way I wanted to play. So when I get voted off, I wasn't sitting there saying, "Oh, geez, I should have done something differently." I portrayed myself the way I wanted to. So I was disappointed, but I said to myself, "Listen, I gave everything I had, and I was happy with that."
Very good.
All right, sit down, you 2. Sit down.
Oh, go back. Oh. You're good?
Are you guys back? You want another question?
23, friends.
Oh yeah, listen. Okay, so let me ask you 2 a question. There, are you 2 the pranksters in class? You look like do you sit at the back of the class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front.
Okay, all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having fun, guys. Just listen to your teacher. That's all.
Number 23, come on up.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Just having a Tom from Survivor, not a big
Yeah.
deal.
If you were asked to be on Survivor again, would you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I definitely. It's hard. There's no question, but I really, for you guys to learn the lesson, it's there comes the prankster in the background. You're getting photobomb back there. I think it's really important for everybody to learn that, listen, sometimes things are really like hard to do, and Survivor was hard to do. Like I said, physically was hard, mentally was hard, the preparation for it and everything. But it was one of those things that, man, you look back and you say, wow, I can't believe that I'm getting a chance to be on Survivor, go to Fiji and go through all that stuff. So it was a blast. I'd definitely do it again. You guys should try to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you. 24.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good.
My question is, what was more difficult, Survivor or hockey?
I've been asked that quite a bit. Another photobomb in the background there. Who's your buddy back there?
I don't know.
Oh, he's just photobombing you. I've been asked that a lot. The hockey was different in that, especially when I played, it's a very physical game, and there's an intimidation part of it. So the physical part was a shorter period of time, but kind of a violent game. Survivor is different in that it was more of a mental grind. You're out there with people that you're trying to get along with, but at the same time they're trying to vote you off, and you're trying to vote them off. So I think mentally the grind of Survivor is probably tougher. The physical part in the NHL was probably tougher way back when I played. But two different things entirely. Again, you go out there on Survivor and you're there for, well, hopefully 39 days. In my case, it was 15 days. With a hockey game, the hockey game ends in 60 minutes. And under that 60 minutes, I'm probably going to play 20 or 25 minutes. So it's a different thing, a smaller period of time, a lot more violent, a lot more physical, but not as much of a grind mentally as Survivor was.
Very good.
What's up, bud? How you doing?
Did you?
Very great. Very good.
What was it like emotionally on Survivor?
Oh, hold on.
What was it like emotionally on Survivor?
What was it? Yeah, what was it like emotionally on Survivor?
It was good. There's most of the time, maybe naively watching the show, I felt pretty comfortable that I was not going to get voted off. Although when I watch it now, maybe I shouldn't have been that way. There was a couple times where I got close to getting voted off than I thought I was. I think that's the real, at the tribal council, when I knew I had a chance to get voted off, where I ultimately was voted off, that was more emotional because you're wow, this could be coming to an end. But like I said before, I really felt good when I was sitting there thinking, man, they may be putting my name down, that I really played the way I wanted to play. In fact, I grabbed, for the first time at tribal council, and we were a lot of them, I grabbed my bag that I had with me and my water ball. Actually, I brought my water ball too for you guys to see. So that's the water ball that I actually had on Survivor.
Wow.
Everybody, I don't know if everybody can see it or not, but that's the water ball I had on. So I grabbed my bag and my water ball thinking, yeah, I could be going home. And I really wanted to make sure that I said something to everybody that show them, listen, I understand it was the game. We're all playing the game with no hard feelings. And it was an honor to meet everybody. And I got a chance to do that. So that was the emotional part, getting voted off.
Very good. You are projected on the big screen, Tom, so everybody can see
Okay,
you.
good. Excellent.
Question 25. Come on up, Ozzy and Raj. All right, background friends. Quiet.
Hey, bud, what's going on, guys?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Ray,
Did
what's your
you
question?
feel a lot of Canadian support?
Yes, I did. You know what? That's something I didn't anticipate at first. When I got out there, I realized that, I was really representing Canada. I was the first Canadian to play. And it was really important for me that I remembered that. And for me, growing up in Canada and playing hockey, I was taught a lot of lessons, not just about hockey, but about life. And that, it's how you respect your coaches, your opponents, your teammates, your referees, your parents, your teachers in school. So respect was a big thing. And I really wanted to have respect for the people that I was out there playing with and playing against. But at the same time, I was also taught that when it comes time to win, you do what you have to do to win. And that's the way I prepared myself for Survivor too. I wanted to respect everybody who was out there. But again, I wasn't, I was there to win. I wasn't there to just be a participant. So I thought that was really important. That's what I learned growing up in Canada. And that's what I took onto the game.
Very good. We only have a couple more questions. 26. Come on up.
What's up, bud?
Good.
Is it cold in there?
It's a chilly morning.
Early morning. Okay.
Who do you think will be crowned the winner?
Well, I don't. First of all, I don't know. So this is just purely me guessing. I have no inside information. In fact, right now, nobody knows who the winner is amongst the players. It's just they've gone to the final three, and then they'll announce that when we go to the final. Who do I think will win? I've got it. This is just me guessing. I don't know. I'm going to guess that Tommy, the teacher from Long Island. I think he's going to. That's my guess. That could win.
Why do you think that?
You know, the way the season seems to be unfolding, it's people like, again, I got voted off, I think, because I was really loyal and I made sure people knew I was loyal. Look at like Aaron got voted off, I think, because he was very strategic. I think that Jason got voted off. He was very strategic. So people wanted to get those guys out. I just noticed it seems like with Tommy that maybe he's a little bit more laid back and isn't like getting a target on his back as much as maybe I did and some of those other people.
Very good. That's my pick for winner, and I'm very excited you said that.
Good.
Number 27. Oh, thank you.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Good.
Alrighty, again. Thanks.
Where did you go to the bathroom when you were on the island?
I figured somebody's going to ask me that question. So I'll be very delicate the way I answer this. So we go in the ocean. There's no toilet paper or anything like that. So they actually say to you before you go out there, it's one of the few tips that they give you that they call it a aqua bomb is what they call it out there. So we go out in the ocean to do our stuff. A little bit difficult with the waves coming in. So, but I'll be careful about how I answer that question. But it was that was very entertaining when we were doing that.
Very good. Alrighty, friends. There's no question, correct? We're all good? Alrighty, so up we go.
See you, bud.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
Doing
doing
great.
well, thank you. Thank you so much for volunteering your time. I will show everybody. Hold on, guys. I'll turn the camera to you. Stay where you are. I had one last question. I didn't know this, but I was listening to one of the podcasts from Rob has a podcast about Survivor, and he mentioned that there's this training. Did you have a training camp that you had to go to before you started Survivor?
For 5 days before we went out there to play, we were at what they call Ponderosa, which is a staging area.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's as much training. It was more like preparation. There was all kinds of interviews and tests with the doctors and everything. He may have been alluding to other people like training on their own, which I did. Like I really, I did a lot of more mental training where I had a trainer that's a good friend of mine that's really into like the connection between your mind and your body.
Mhm.
He would do things like he would have me memorize a poem, and I would recite the poem and have it down perfectly. And then he would have me do some kind of exercise, or in some cases, he'd try to aggravate me, something to elevate my heart rate. And then I would try to recite the poem again. And inevitably, I could not recite the poem the way I could the first time around. So it was really recognizing how my body was affecting my mind and vice versa. And then I had to train myself to now control that whole process. So like in my case, it was actually just taking deep breaths, like physically taking deep breaths to stop it. But that was really, it's interesting because I wish I'd had known that when I played in the NHL many years ago too, that kind of connection between your mind and your body. So it was a lot of fun doing that though.
Yeah, he mentioned something about like getting to know the land, knowing what you can and cannot eat, knowing about the animals on the island. Did you have anything like that?
No, they gave us they spent a little bit of time, like they had us out there learning how to start a fire. I mean, I think most people before they got there would train themselves to know how to start a fire with the flint. But they would give us stuff to show us, like actually physically show us the berries and foods that you could not eat and you could eat. They talked about the extinct animals out there. The island we were on had a little bird that was protected. And we couldn't touch that bird. But the problem was the bird was so used to being around people, it would wander right in the middle of the night and actually a couple times walked right through our fire. So it was so comfortable. You felt like you almost had to protect it because the bird, I think that's what eventually had happened. The bird knew that, these people here are going to protect me. But it scared particularly the girls in the middle of the night because you picture we're sitting around, it's dark, you got the fire going, you're about to go to bed, and all of a sudden this animal comes out of nowhere and starts walking through the fire. So it scared them at first. In fact, they really made a point of telling us that we could not touch the bird at all. That was part of the deal of being able to be in Fiji, that we protected this bird.
Very good. All right, we're gonna do our big send off.
All right.
Hold on. Let's see everybody. Be careful. Be careful.
All right. Good job. Great. Thank you very much for having me. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Very good. Bye-bye.
Bye.